What's up, everybody? This is David Daniels with Red Dirt University. Special guest this episode, Mr. Cody Hibbard. Super excited to have Cody on the podcast. We had a ton of fun talking about life growing up in Oklahoma and Texas, how he got started in the music scene, how he's a recent in growing his music career, all kinds of just unique stuff that I had no idea about his life, and maybe you don't as well. So check it out. It's Cody Hibbard.
They don't know you got a kiss that'll kick you like a shotgun. Stole my love and you took off on the run. Can't tell them that you held me hostage. You should be on this town's most wanted. I don't know where you're going, but wherever you are, I bet you got my broken heart in the trunk of your car. They think you're an angel, but I know what they don't know you like this boy does.
Thank you guys so much for having us again. I'm probably going to say it a million times, y'all.
Oh, baby, you're armed and dangerous.
All right, man. I appreciate you being here.
No, I appreciate you having us, man.
Dude, we are excited to get this rolling. Excited to hear you tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So
Yeah,
actually, first time playing in Louisiana ever.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. So you grew up in Oklahoma,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So we're at in Oklahoma.
I grew up on a 360-acre farm out there in Adair, Oklahoma, which is 45 minutes northeast of Tulsa, somewhat. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear
Yeah.
you. Then you moved down to Texas.
Yeah. I actually lived in Arkansas for about 7 years, and then I currently live down in Conroe, Texas now.
Okay.
Willis area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I used to do some work out there.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. You ain't ever played in Louisiana. You've been Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Texas,
Yeah.
living there, and ain't never played out here.
Played to a bunch of guys from Louisiana.
Yeah.
Just because I used to work for a bunch of them, but I've never around the campfires and stuff.
Yeah,
Never have. This will be our first time.
Wow,
So,
that's
yeah.
awesome, man. I know that you definitely have a great following out here. I know a ton of
Yeah.
people that listen to your music out here. I'm excited. We got some place for you to play now.
Dude, I'm excited about it too. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, and a lot of them too. I mean, granted, I haven't been doing this very long, but I didn't plan on being a musician or a player.
Yeah.
And I actually give all the credit to some guys that live down in Lake Charles.
Yeah.
Some welder foremen I used to work for, because they used to joke around like, we're not hiring you unless you bring that guitar to the job. I was like, all right, whatever. And, we'd get done after work, and, I never did see myself playing. And honestly, I didn't ever really learn a whole song for a long time. I just used to sit around campfire and sit there and make fun of everybody playing
Yeah.
chords. And they're the ones that really got me back on music and guitar. And like I said, everything I got, it starts with them. So
Yeah.
just getting me to even break it out and play in front of people.
I hear you.
Yeah.
So I've heard a little bit of your story. You were adopted,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
So kind of walk through how you were a baby when you were adopted, or
Yeah,
how old were you?
13 months old. Yep. My parents adopted me out of Tulsa, and grew up on a 360-acre farm out there, and hell, didn't even know I was Asian until I was about 8 years old or so.
Right. I hear you, man.
Yeah.
I guess that is one of the first things. And in fact, one of my buddies, whenever I was telling him you were going to be on the podcast and everything, he said, "Yeah, I've heard his music." I said, "Yeah, I don't know if he's exactly what you would expect from a country music singer," which I guess you get all the damn time.
All the time. That's how this whole thing started.
Yeah.
It was, at a Tex-Mex restaurant, and my waiter was kind of acting a little weird, and I finally was just like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" He goes, "Man, I'm not trying to offend you," which I already know what's about to happen when they say that. I'm like, "No, you're good." And he goes, "Man, you don't sound how you look." I was like, "Yeah, I know." And my buddy that was sitting there, he's like, "Man, you think that's weird? You ought to hear him sing." And got some guitars, broke out at that place. And
So what made you pick up the guitar at first? And like, how old were you whenever you started playing and
So-
kind of just fooling with it?
I don't know if it was probably more that Mom never wanted me to get in trouble, and Dad's way of not getting in trouble was staying busy all the time. So he had me working the time I could walk.
Yeah.
And Mom had me on chores, of course. And, Mom's kind of more compassionate way of keeping me out of trouble was getting me involved in sports and music and all that good stuff, and so when I was 4 years old, they threw me in piano, and started kind of just playing piano there. Hated practice, and then of course sports came, and I quit piano. And my granddad was a guitar player, and
cool.
he enjoyed, he didn't do it as a profession, but he just enjoyed guitar. He enjoyed music, and he bought me my first guitar, and probably when I was 11 years old, and I, like I said, didn't want to do nothing with it. Music wasn't a thing. Of course, when I was growing up, it wasn't as cool as being the jock or whatever. And when you're in a small town, everyone talks. So it was one of them things where it was like, I can do it later. And then Mom, always pushed me to play more and more. And when I went to the United States Naval Academy after high school, and I hurt my shoulder while I was there. And their kind of way to, while I was during physical therapy and all that stuff, their way of, you can't do nothing. You can just finish your homework and that's about it. And I had brought my guitar back from home one leave, and it was just sitting there in the corner. I was like, you know what, I just, Mom always said music's always going to be there. And I was like, whatever. So I started learning chords and still really didn't want to do nothing with it. And then, like I said, I'd bought a old cool looking guitar from acoustic guitar off a pawn shop in Illinois. Mm-hmm. And I was working for that guy from one of the guys from Lake Charles, and he said, hey, I'm cooking some jambalaya tonight. He said, everybody's going to be over here, bring that guitar. And I said, all right. So I brought it over there, and I told him, I said, I don't know how to play this thing. Yeah. He said, it'd be all right, just pick it. He said, I just want to hear you play it. I said, all right. So we did, and we probably got a little too drunk, and I sat there and played the 3 chords I knew and made fun of everybody over there, and it was just, it became a family. Yeah. And that was kind of my way of connecting with music again, was just, of course, Mom in the back of my head, just, music's always going to be there. And so that's kind of how I got into guitar playing, and a lot of it I've learned literally here within the last 2 years of just trying to just adapt and overcome and have fun with it. So.
But definitely a ton of work, because I've heard you play guitar and watched videos and everything, and I would say most of the time whenever I see people that are learning how to play guitar, like their rhythm patterns are all off. They don't know any type of technique to it, but to come as far as you've come and learn how to play the guitar damn well in a couple of years is crazy, man. Just something you just said, all right, this is what I'm doing now. So,
man, that's one thing that I've always, and it's going to sound, I guess, cliche, but if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Yeah. I'm not going to, anything I've ever done and, push myself probably a little too hard on some areas, but, in this, now that I'm doing this full time as of March, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to try and learn everything I can on the writing aspect, on the guitar playing aspect. And granted, I pay 2 guys to play lead guitar, so I'm not not looking to take their job, but
not half-assing a couple things, whole-assing
because
the
more I've learned on the guitar, the more it's helped me with my songwriting, the more it's, just pushed me through different areas. And
couldn't agree more. My lead guitar player, same deal. I got 2 lead guitar players. One of them is one of my best friends, and I told him, I want you to teach me some lead. I ain't trying to obviously take what you do, because I never could, but I want to just improve my songwriting. Right. So if I can learn more lead guitar, I feel like it'll help me hear that stuff. You know what I mean? And so I definitely hear where you're coming from on that, man. Yeah. So backing up, you grew up in Oklahoma. Right. What is I've been to some shows in Oklahoma, but I'm not super familiar with the Oklahoma scene. I know it's similar to the Texas scene. It's the red dirt scene, same deal. But is growing up around Tulsa and being around Canes and some of that area similar to the way it feels in Texas? Or because you live both, so you kind of know both, I guess, markets.
Right, man. With Oklahoma, and this may just be me just saying because I'm originally from there. It's almost more to the fans out there, I guess you could say. And I'm not I'm not saying this in a negative way. Almost special, because there isn't hardly any festivals out there. There's only a few festivals out there. There's only certain places to play out there, Tumbleweeds or Canes or, we've played out in Lott, and we've played out in Oklahoma City, Diamond Ballroom, and, Durant. Other than that, you got the casinos to play in. So for acts to come in from Texas or wherever, really, and even, national acts to come in, it's something special, really, really special to them just because there's not a lot there. I mean, I remember when we got the Oklahoma City Thunder, you know, that was really our first, I guess it was our kind of our first major sports team. So out there, I mean, it's just, whereas in Texas, you know, you can play a venue and then 5 miles up the road, you know, Boland's playing or Cody Canada's playing and I'm not saying it's not, it's something special to them. It's just, the music scene is, you know, it's been thriving for whatever, I can't even get it out down there for a while. Whereas in Oklahoma, you know, we definitely had the red dirt scene, you know, Cody and, you know,
Turnpike,
Turnpike, all them coming up through there. But I think that's what kind of made all that special was, you know, they popped it up. And there's a crazy good scene of songwriters. Like, you know, of course, Zach Bryan, but, you know.
Do you know Matt Williams?
Yes, he just opened for us. I was actually about to say Matt Williams and J.R. Carroll. And
I've been talking to Matt. We just randomly became friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I saw him post $42 whenever he released
That's
it.
what,
And I was just randomly, I was like, I mean, and I never do that. Like, I'm friends with tons of musicians on Facebook. But I thought the cover art was cool. I was like, okay, well, let me hear this. That song, like 3 chords in, I was like, this might be something. I played it for a guy that's producing my new single on Monday. I went and recorded a song. And I said, man, have you heard this guy? And he said, I don't even know who that is. I went and played it. I said, this song has gotten no love yet the way that it needs to. I said, this could compete with anything. And the dude is freaking killing it, man. I'm a big fan of his.
Well, that's why when we played Tumbleweeds, they said, hey, you care, Matt? I was like, hell no. I was like, I love that dude. I mean, I love his music. And that's $42. Like, that's...
Dude, but every one of his songs is freaking amazing. Like at that time, before I've listened to some of the album. I haven't listened to the full thing. Tumbleweed, I think, is his new album. But he's got that The Mountain. That song was freaking great. Man, I was listening to it the other day, just driving home from Texas. And I was thinking, this bitch can write a song.
Well, the cool thing that really struck out to me, and it reminded me of being in high school growing up, you know, growing up to these bands. And of course, when I was growing up, we was finally getting Josh Abbott band, Randy Rogers, Casey Donahue, all of them up finally in that kind of that area. But we all knew of Stoney and, you know, of course, and Cross Canadian Ragweed and all them, you know, and the cool thing with Matt and that all them young guns over there is that they're really wanting to build that Stillwater sound, I guess you could call it, that red dirt, you know, sound out there, which, I mean, you can't, whatever genre you play or subgenre, you can't help but respect all that.
God,
and just to watch them kids and how hungry they are and what they're wanting to do and, you know, what the different little things that they do with just in Oklahoma in general. Like, it's cool to see. It's cool to see that drive and, you know, how much passion they have behind it. So,
yeah, man, they definitely are grinding. And, it's cool to see from all the different areas, you know. So you got like in this area from, I would classify Northwest Louisiana and kind of East Texas in the same bracket. We're all within an hour of each other, but within an hour drive of here, hour and a half, you've got Co in Pittsburgh, you got Colby and Tyler, you got Whiskey Myers from Palestine, you got Chris Colson from Tyler, like just the whole freaking market of guys that are just killing it right now come from within an hour and a half of this area, you know. And then you take, like you said, you got the Stillwater sound. It's just like kind of in that area, Tulsa, Muscadine Bloodline in Alabama, some of those guys that are killing it, the Riley Greens, the people in that. It's like just these little hot spots of talent start bubbling up, man. And I don't know what it is about that, you know. Of course, this area, Shreveport-Bossier, has always been big for talent, Louisiana Hayride and all that stuff, you know, Hank and everything else.
I think that's what's cool about, like, you know, because Co, of course, has a totally different sound than Stillwater, you know, but it's how the fans all blend together. And like I said, I said it was kind of special for Oklahoma because it is. I mean, there's very few venues out there that really bring out the talent anymore, you know, so just you know, when we go play San Antonio, then the next night we're in, say, Tyler or, you know, Benini Creek or something like that. Like it's like how all the fans are just, you know, kind of unified. Like it's just cool. It's cool to see. I mean, you know, it is you know, we've been seeing a lot of, I guess, Twitter beef here lately, you know, between some acts, but in the end, like, you know, we support all of them, and you know, especially our camp. Like, we just want to see everybody make money and win, because in the end game, you're only here. You take your breaths to die. You know, and you might as well go have the best life you can, and you know, make as much money as you can and enjoy it, and you know, whatever. I mean, pray to whatever you do, and just pay your taxes at the end of the day, I guess. And you know, but looking back on it, when you're an old man or old woman, hope that you know you did everything you could and had the best
100%.
life you could. And you know, I think that's what's coolest about this scene. You know, is that everyone we come across, we've opened up for Giovanni to Cody Canada to Randall King to Cody Johnson, and every single one of them.
For completely different sounds.
Exactly.
You know,
and that's the cool thing about our sound is we blend well with each one of them, like
100%.
in one way or another. But the fans, along with all of our different teams, like we're all 100%. Hey man, you good? Okay. Anything we need, let us know. Fans are the same way, dude. Love your new song. Like, yeah, that was so cool. You was opening up for Gio, or that was cool. You opened up for Cody Johnson. Like, that's the best thing about this scene, and that's what always has been best about this scene is that we're just a bunch of. And I always say this at the show is that I'm just a simple guy. Like, I have no aspiration. I honestly don't care about fame. Like I said, I love money. You know, always have been. You know, I think all of us do. But I'm not going to go do anything extra to go make money. And I think a lot of us are the same way. Like,
I agree. And I think that that's the genuine aspect of it. You know, back in, before I go there, I've found that the guys in the red dirt scene, just like you said, seem to all look out for each other. And my circle of friends is the same way. I mean, we all like, you know, Lucas Jagno.
Oh yeah.
So Lucas is one of my really good buddies.
He just stayed at my house 2 weekends ago.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So Lucas, whenever I was really trying to start hitting the road and everything, and really start doing the thing, I called Lucas. I said, "Hey man, I'm trying to branch into Texas and you know start booking some shows out there." And because it's crazy, like in Shreveport Bossier, I could book any show, be you know a good crowd there, but I couldn't sell out a Texas Roadhouse in Texas. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird deal. So that's where I'm at. And so I called him. Dude sends me like a 500 venue list of every town, Excel spreadsheet, categorize every contact number, just everything in general. He's like, here, man, here's all my contact lists. I want to see you be successful. There's not a national act that I know personally alive that would say, here, I want to have the possibility of me losing a date for you to get one. You know, and that's the difference, man. It's just everybody that I've met in this scene is the same way. Like I want to see you be successful. You know, it open for me today, I may be opening for you tomorrow. You know, take Cody Jinks. He's got freaking Randy Rogers Band opening for him for like 6 shows. I can guarantee you Cody would have paid top dollar to open for Randy when he was coming up. You know what I mean? So you don't ever know.
Probably would have done it for free.
100%. I'd have paid somebody. You know what I mean? So, it's a crazy, crazy realm, man. But I have seen the opposite, though, and I've opened for a couple of Nashville acts that wouldn't even sit and eat lunch with you. You know what I mean? And
I think that's kind of where we're. And I'm not the type to dog on.
No,
everybody.
100%.
I don't care to teach their own. Like I said, Luke Bryan to whoever, whatever the
go make you money.
Go make your money.
Because
at the end of the day, they could give 2 cares. You know. When he's sitting there wiping his butt with his millions of dollars, like he doesn't care about what Joe Schmo says about. But at the same time, I think what we're seeing now quite a bit though is the rise of we've been seeing this, the rise of social media, and a lot of us, and to me, I suck at it. I run all my socials. I mean, I'm just not. I'm a welder. And eventually we will find the right person to run it for us. And I'm so find somebody that knows how to run social media, hit me up, but. How we do it down here compared to how a lot of those acts up there, they're, doing things that they don't want to do. You can tell, like in them videos, like maybe they do want to do it. Maybe, and they're trying to make a quick buck, and that good on them. Like I said, I'm not dogging them in any way. It's just, I think in this industry, you always have to look at longevity. You have to look at the long term. Your friend's going to be there at the end of the day. Is that label going to be there with you at the end of the day? And it goes back to, open up for, national acts or Nashville acts, or, I've opened up for assholes that were Texas acts, and it, like I said, to each their own, but at the end of the day, I want everyone to know that they can give me a call or one of my team, a call that, we're going to try and help you out as much as we can. And, and I think a lot of times in this scene too, I'm not saying with them, but I've heard, oh, so-and-so's, he's forgot where he's come from too. And a lot of times that's not always true either. That's, if people see my call logs or, the emails I get 24/7, and granted I'm doing everything myself, but there's not a lot of time in the day, and I think a lot of people forget that. But
I heard somebody say in reference to that one time, and I thought it was a great way to put it. He said, man, you're not the same guy you were whenever we hung out. He's like, you're exactly right. Yeah. He said, you don't understand the time that I have to put into this. He said, it's not that I don't care about you, but I'm not the same person. He said, I can't stop what I'm doing. I got all these people that work for me now. I got all these people that are feeding their families that are counting on me. Yeah. He said, it's not that I don't love you and I don't want to spend time with you. He said, but I'm not the same person. Doesn't mean I'm an asshole. No. It just means I'm not the same that I was. I've grown, Right. And I think that's the way it is, man, is people do change and it's not always for the worst. Sometimes it's just, hey man, I got to be a little more intentional. I'm going to get back to you, but just give me a minute.
And that's why I always am, because I still try to message everybody back on social medias and to the buddies that seen me at the open mics back when I first started in Conroe to whatever. I try to always be like, hey, I promise you, I'm trying to get. It has nothing to do with anything other than I'm just got to get my business done. Yep. Because at the end of the day, you ain't making money in your business, you have no business. Yep. And at the same time, if you're not devoting your time and putting in the hard work to your business, you have no business.
That's right.
And, a lot of these people too, they wouldn't like it if we come up in there and distracted them from work all day either. And so
you don't want nobody throwing rocks when you're mowing,
But to go back to your topic, there are people out there that are. They're just born assholes. And I think, I've seen a video where Willie Nelson says it best. The only rule is don't be an asshole. And that's kind of what we just live by. Like, it's just, we're going to be nice to every single person we come across and, just treat us with the same respect that we treat you guys. And sometimes you're not going to get that.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. And
the Red Dirt fans are so loyal, man. It's not even just, it's people that don't know Red Dirt music, especially with me running this podcast now. People ask, well, what's your podcast about? I say, well, I have a Red Dirt podcast and we talk about Red Dirt music. What's Red Dirt music? You know, so people that are unfamiliar with the scene. And that's one of the hardest questions that I get is because how do you explain the difference between Randall King and Co? Yeah. They're both Red Dirt artists. Yeah. So I just tell people all the time, it's a opportunity for independent artists that are from the Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana scene mostly, to put out their music. Yeah. And because it does vary so much, just you can name off 5 names and every one of them are going to be completely different. Yeah. But they're all respected by the same people, you know. And I think it's awesome. I love it. It's just like you said, with social media, with the opportunity to stream your own music, you don't have to have a label. You can get on Spotify and Apple Music yourself, It's just a matter of you can do all that on your own now. These guys we're branching up from nothing to, kind of taking over on our own, and fans, I think, just love that, want to support them. I
think that's kind of what it's turned into. And, a lot of them, they don't want to be classified as country or anything like that, or they want to push their rock sound, but we're all still playing a lot of the same venues.
For sure.
And I think it's kind of the Red Dirt and Texas country or Texas music, sound has or not sound, but the term has graduated. And I could be talking out my ass, but has graduated more from being a sound to more of being
a culture.
Yeah, culture. Yeah. That's probably the best way to put it. Because, like you said, and I said it earlier, the fans all over.
Yeah, 100%.
Gio could play one night, and then I play the next night, and we're getting a lot of the same fans out there. Yep. And it's I don't know. I think it's just become more of a culture compared to whereas it used to be. Oh, that's not.
Yeah.
That's not. That's mainstream country. Yeah. That's Nashville country. Well, this is more of a culture because we're seeing it. We're seeing a lot. I think a lot. National acts start coming down like Easton Corbin and a lot of these guys are starting to hit these markets down here and are really starting to press Texas and Oklahoma, and of course they're still touring out doing what they can.
And you take guys that are maybe a little higher up in the Texas scene that are now traveling with national acts. Like you got Riley Green, Parker traveling with Dierks Bentley. Like, I mean, those guys are traveling together. You got Miranda Lambert's coming down and getting Randy Rogers and some of those guys. And I feel like whenever I started listening to Red Dirt music, it was kind of like to hell with pop country was more the mentality. But now it doesn't feel that way. It's just, this is who we are. This is the kind of music we love. Yeah. If that's the kind of music you love, great. I mean, it's nothing against any of it. There's still plenty of Nashville acts I listen to. It's not against any of that. It's just this is the kind of people we want to support. Yeah. Like I said, it's just up and coming welders, freaking whatever background you come from, and just I want to pick up a guitar and start music, and you can now.
And I think honestly, the best thing that, of course, everything in the Texas scene and Red Dirt was always there, but I think a lot of it too was watching, and I'm gonna say this again, to each their own. But Luke Combs coming onto the scene, being this just everyday dude. And whatever he sings, whatever his label pushes, all that, his management, whether you like it or not. But I think that helped kind of
bridge that
back to where, and it's a lot of it's a testament to the fans too, where they finally got tired of seeing a lot of the stuff that they were, and not saying it's bad. Like I said, if that's what you do, that's great, because they're still selling millions upon millions of dollars. But a lot of people wanted to bring back, what everything used to be. Because I mean, like I said, our sound ain't traditional, and I've known that since the beginning. I mean,
but it's you. But and that's me. All that matters.
And that's what we say on stage. I'm gonna be 100% authentic. If I were to put and like I said, we talked about earlier, I'll wear a cowboy hat every once in a while, but if I were to act like a cowboy, that would be the same type of gimmick as if I were to go put skinny jeans on.
That's right.
And I've said it a million times, I got to get a shirt that says to each their own, you know, and just be you. I feel like that's what, a lot of people want to push the agenda these days of, racism or whatever, and I don't get political. Because I don't care. Like, be you.
Just be you.
That's all. What at this point in the world, like, if they want to push, whoever wants to push an agenda, it ought to be one agenda. Just be you and let me be me. And that's all I ever say about. Same thing in country music. Same thing in any type of whatever you do, your workforce, whatever. Just be you. And let me be me. Let the people that like my stuff enjoy it, and don't hound them for it. And whoever likes whoever's music or whatever they do, let their fans enjoy it.
100%.
And I think that's where we're starting to see that. I think we're starting to bridge all that back together, and which is cool. And like I said, I think it's a lot of it is the testament to country music fans and or Red Dirt fans in general. You know, and so it's cool to see. It really is.
If you're anything like me and my group of friends, you're probably pretty busy all the time. Whether it's planning around t-ball and cheer, and or if you're a student and you've got school and trying to still find time to build some relationships with your friends, and just scheduling in time for yourself can be pretty tough sometimes. So I'm sure you've already got it planned out. This is the next concert I'm going to. I already got my tickets booked. I'm scratching off the days. I love that anticipation of knowing that there's a big event coming up and I can't wait for it. I love it. Whenever it finally gets there, I know what I'm ready for. I'm going to relax, have a great drink, and listen to some great music. So that's why we have been really excited to partner with Bud Light. They are proud to support our podcast. They love the Red Dirt scene. They are excited about how we're helping educate the community about Red Dirt music, and they want to help see it grow. So I can guarantee the next time I'm out at a concert, I'm going to support them back. I'm going to grab a Bud Light and support people that are supporting our music scene. It's what I love about Red Dirt music. It's a loyal fan base. We all support each other. And so really excited to do that, and proud to be partnering with them in this venture. So y'all help me out, support Bud Light, grab a 12-pack today. So it's just, like I said, that authenticity. I love it, man. I've been going back and listening to a lot of Ragweed this last week, just because Cody's coming to Shreveport in November.
He's such a nice dude. Yeah, one of the nicest guys out there, man.
Yet to meet him, but I can't wait to. He seems just like a great guy, man.
He is, man.
But I just go through and just their lyrics, just so honest, real, and are as relevant sound wise today as anything that's out. 20 years ago, you listen to, 17 or Alabama or anything on like Soul Gravy or any of that.
Yeah.
I mean, you could take Soul Gravy, put it out today, and it would still be a hit.
Yeah.
And that blows my mind as a musician and creator. It's just, man, how do you create something that can span the time of decades, And it's dude's freaking awesome. But so you got a full EP, or would it be a full album plus a few singles out?
It'll be a full. I've got I guess iTunes would call it an album. That's 7 songs on it. And then we dropped 4 singles afterwards. And the goal behind, people kept asking me, why are you dropping so many singles?
Spotify, baby.
Spotify.
Yep. I get it. Yep.
Streaming has changed the course of, and and I'm an independent artist. That's the coolest thing about it. So I don't have to listen to nobody. Just because it ain't the norm.
So for people who don't know, if you want to get on a Spotify playlist, which you are, I want to ask you about how much that's impacted your career. Mm-hmm. So if you want to get on a Texas Country Now like you're on, if you want to get on a Spotify playlist, if you are Cody Canada and you put out a Ragweed album, you get to pick one song off of that album to be considered to be put on the Spotify playlist. Yeah. So that's the reason you see a lot of artists going and dropping single after single after single and then release the full album, because in order to get into that fan base of 250, 300,000 people that Spotify has built on that playlist, in order to be considered to be on that, you have to submit it one at a time. So you can submit single, and then one single off the album, but you can't do all that, which you already know. But for the people at home that don't understand, that's the reason, kind of what we're discussing. But
that's why you're seeing so many singles. And I think it was Blake Shelton, I think. Like I said, I know he's, Nashville or, whatever.
But he's pretty dang smart. He's got a lot of money.
Pretty dang smart. He's got a lot of money. I think he was one of the really, and it might have been, Kyle Park did this too, I think. They was like, they're going to change it up. Why would you not?
Why would you ever even put out an album?
Exactly. And let's put out some singles and let's see what happens. And
Drake did that. Yeah. Drake killed it. I mean, he just put single. Okay, I guess I'll do an album now.
Yeah. And then they just pull everything into an album. Exactly. And we haven't done that yet. I mean, at this point, we're just trying to get the music out there. Yeah. And that's kind of what so we dropped the Memory and Dirt Road album. Mm-hmm. And so I'd recorded Half Whiskey, Half Lonely first. That was the first single I ever did. Had no clue about playlisting, had no clue about anything. And so when I dropped it, it was just, here you go.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here it is in the world. Just check it out. And, shout out to Texas Music Pickers. They was the first ones to pick it up and kind of went with it. And I remember playing our first full band show of October, it's pretty close to Halloween, I think, of 2019. And I heard like 4 or 5 people sitting there singing it back. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And, we started finding out like Texas Music Picker. Then I started hearing from people like, did you send it off for playlisting? I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah. And they said, yeah, you can send one to playlisting for Spotify per single or per album. I was like, well, okay. Well, I messed up.
What are the odds?
Yes.
And then,
So we did the Memory and the Dirt Road album, and I just threw Half Whiskey, Half Lonely, which was produced by Drew Hall and at Rosewood Studios in Tyler. Yeah. And I just threw it back on there because it was just going to be an EP, which the EP was produced by Philip Mosley, which is Colby Cooper, Chris Colston, all them. And I just told him, I was like, hey, man, I'm just going to throw Half Whiskey, Half Lonely on there just because, it can't hurt. Like, just gain a little bit of traction. If somebody hits play on this album, like, it's still going to get they're going to still hear this song. And I always go back to that song because, at the time when we dropped Memory of Dirt Road, I knew about playlisting, and we sent off Just for the Record. And Just for the Record made playlisting. And I get more comments about Half Whiskey, Half Lonely than any other song out there.
Really?
And I know for a fact if I would have sent that off to playlisting and it would have got out to more masses,
it would have just kickstarted.
I think it would have kickstarted even more. And granted, it is what it is.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't care. Whenever I hear people singing it back, that just means means more to me. Yeah. And just because people are really hitting that song hard. Yeah. And so it's kind of like I said, it's an authentic thing. Like I know where, my fans are sitting there really listening, or and we got done with the Memory and Dirt Road album, and we started looking more, and my guys, my band, everybody were like, man, what are you going to do next? I was like, you know what? A lot of people don't know what to expect when this Asian sumbitch gets up on stage.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I want to hit these next. First off, it was the first 2 singles, Ice Cold Therapy and Armed Dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want them to be polar opposites. And I think Grady Saxman produced those. And I think he said, he called Ice Cold Therapy a stoner honky tonk song. and of course, Armed and Dangerous is more like a your rock country, like honestly early Jason Aldean back when, because I was I grew up on Dirt Road Anthem and Brantley Gilbert and all that when I was a kid. And
same thing. That's more my sound.
That's
like Armed and Dangerous is my favorite song of yours. Like I love it.
And that's what, when we hit that, I was like, man, this would be, I could hear Jason Aldean singing this, and like I said, I always think just back towards where I was growing up and my influences. And so we dropped both of them, and both took off, and then granted it was for playlisting. Yeah. And I sat there after those 2, I was like, why would I want to spend all this money, and then only have 1 or 2 songs really hit at my stage? Now, granted, when you're Colby Size or Co or anybody like that, Cody Johnson, like
it doesn't matter. It
doesn't matter that because you're gonna
but it
helps. Yeah, but you're gonna get your money back. And you gotta, not saying that I don't believe in every single one of my songs. I just want every single one of my songs given a chance. And so I was like, we'll do 2 more singles. We did The Truth, which we went in there and he said, we talked when we pre-pro'd it. He was like, what do you want? What are you thinking? I was like, let's do it completely opposite of those 2. Yeah. I said, what do you think? And he said, I'm hearing like a Tom Petty type ballad. And I said, perfect. Let's go with it. Because I love Petty. Yeah. And then when we went back to Ask Your Mother, like I said, Luke Combs is I thoroughly enjoy what he does.
Oh, God.
And I mean,
he's a monster.
He's a monster. And like I said, he broke the mold.
So as a songwriter, man, I don't know many people that can touch him, man. It just... Like one of my favorite things, we'll cover When It Rains, It Pours. Yeah. So in the chorus of every song, he counts down from 5 to 1. Yeah. He talks about I spent $5 on Moose Club raffle on a used 4-wheeler and 3 free passes for me and 2 of my buddies to play a round of golf. Yeah. Like I'm thinking, what kind of...
See, and that's what's so cool too, is because, I mean, and granted, it's part of just the fanboy. I haven't met Luke, but Jordan Walker was me and him wrote Armed and Dangerous. Yeah. Jordan's one of the writers on When It Rains, It Pours, along with Luke. Gotcha. And then Ray Fulcher, who's become a good friend of mine, he was the 3rd writer on it. And just to meet these guys and just to pick their brains and and like part of that going back to like it would be a gimmick if I sat there and tried to write like Turnpike, or if I tried to write like one guy that I really enjoy is Tanner Ussery. And if I tried to write like Tanner, Tanner's a great dude, and I mean, he's a buddy of mine, but if I tried writing like him, it'd come out like a bunch of just,
it's
for me, it just
wouldn't be you.
Yeah. So it just flows out of him. It flows out of Zach Bryan. It flows out of, and so I don't try to pretend to be like them, so see these guys and how they write and how it's kind of old. That's why I'm excited about this EP coming out man, I was able to really hone in on a lot of stuff, and just, for tonight's show, we got a fill-in drummer, and we got a new TM, and I was like, have you guys heard the new songs yet? And they're like, no. I said, here, I'll play them for you. And we played all 5, the rest of them, because You Don't Want to Go There is already out. Yeah. And they both were like, man, each one has its own style, sound, writing, but it all relates back to you. Yeah. And that's what we want.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell people all the time, man, it frustrates me when you sit and listen to an album. If a person does spend all that money, all that time going in, cutting an album, and it's got 3 good songs and a bunch of fillers that nobody will listen to. Yes. It's, I mean, there's very few albums. You can listen to some Turnpike albums. You listen to Harold Saul High is one that is like from start to finish, I could listen to that entire album and never skip a song, but that is so rare to have that many that are that good.
And that's why, to me, the playlisting is important, going back to that. Like I said, on this EP, I can't send all of them off.
Yeah.
We already dropped You Don't Want to Go There For It, and it made playlisting first night. I think it made 3 different playlists, and it's killing it.
Yeah.
And I can't believe it. I mean, it's been great for us.
Yeah.
And we're dropping Trouble with Angels tonight, actually.
Uh-huh.
And, I got real high hopes. There's people already asking me to play it at the shows, and all I did was tease it on social medias, and, got high hopes for it. And then we can drop one more as for playlisting when the rest of it drops next week. And to go back to what you were saying, when we went and did this project, we had a hard time figuring out what we wanted to send off to playlisting.
Yeah.
And that's how I wanted this project to be. And I had Ryan Ullman's, which is Muscadine Bloodline's producer. Yeah. That's what I told him. I was like, man, I think I see the potential in each one of these songs. Each one's a little bit different. Let's see what happens. And I know whenever we drop everything, and hopefully, of course, knock on wood, everything goes right. But I hope at the end of the day, when we're looking back on this project, we're going, oh, man, like, I wonder what this song would have done if it hit playlist here. And that's kind of what I do with Half Whiskey.
It's like picking your favorite kid, though.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, all right, which one how do you decide?
That's what people already asking me, about, because, no one knows what the sound, except for some people. And they're like, so what one's your favorite song? And I was like, man, I can't pick. Like, that's what I wanted. Like, I feel like a lot of these, we was talking about some of these acts that don't, you could tell they're pushed to do a lot of stuff, and that's what I'll never be. It's pushed to do something, and if it makes me less money, whatever. But
the fact that you don't have one song, it's like, okay, I don't know which one I'm gonna pick, but I know it's not gonna be that one.
Exactly.
That song should never be out in public. If you don't believe in it enough to say, God, I hope this song makes playlisting, then you don't ever need to put it out.
And at the end of the day, the playlisting, I mean, you was asking how it's affected. I mean, that's, people always ask, man, where'd you come from? What happened?
Yeah.
I was like, well, it started with this. Some people believed in me. I started getting a little, because I would say, a pretty decent business mindset.
Yeah.
I'm just not 100% on the music business mindset.
Yeah.
But I'm big, and we talk about this at the show too. Use common sense. What's common sense? Well, you want your music to get out to as many people as possible. So what's going to happen? You got to get it on a big playlist.
And that's part of what we're trying to build here. Is we've got a Red Dirt University Apple Music playlist and a Spotify playlist, and it's growing. But I think we've got 100 monthly or 100 listeners that are following it and everything. And so as that continues to grow, I want to be able to be a spot where we can take guys that a Matt Williams that nobody knows, but has got a killer freaking sound. Yeah. And just say, man, I want to put you in, same thing Texas Music Pickers does, put you in front of 30, 40,000 people and say, like, here's a shot for your music to work. That's all it is.
We took. That's all we got was a shot. And granted, like you said, you want every song to be like, man, I don't know if we want to send this one or this one or this one, because when you get that shot, you want those people to go back and be like, all right, well, let's see what else
has he got. Yeah, same thing I did with Matt.
And you click on that song and you go, oh, dang, all right, 100%. Well, I'm just going to hit that follow button. All right, let's go look him up. All right, let's go see him at a show. And then you want that live show to be where to match it or be better.
Yep.
And that's what we've always said. We want that live show to be a time where...
How freaking heartbreaking is it to get high up on a freaking act and it's like, God, I love them, man. They're so good. And then you go hear them live and no, And
that too is another thing, testament to the Red Dirt, Texas country, Texas music
absolutely
scene, that their live shows, that's what all you hear about.
Yep.
That's all you see video. Of course, you're going to see videos on Luke and all them, but it's that personal effect, where it's almost like, of course, you're singing to them and they're feeling the songs, but it's I think I would almost say probably 100% of every single band, of course, wants that live show to be better than what the people are listening to. Because I mean, that's why they go out there. I mean, you get that feeling whenever you go to a live show, and I think every single band I've ever come across had to open for us. If they didn't do it at the time, they eventually learned, like, hey, this live show is how we keep them coming in. That's how we keep them listening to our music. Because 90% of the hardest part about any kind of music is just getting someone to click on your name.
And you're 0.2 of a penny that you're making on Spotify for every stream. That's not paying your bills. No. I mean, the live shows are. So if you can't get people out to those live shows, that you can't get a ticket in their hand or something like that, I mean, you can have fun putting music out, but it's never going to be a success if you can't keep people coming back. And that's the thing, man. Once you go to a show and you connect with that artist, and it's, man, anytime this guy's within driving distance, I will be there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're seeing. That I got the most common ass name in country music, especially Texas country or Red Dirt.
I thought about making a shirt about it, not about just your name in general, but like the do a Canada, Colston. Well, you're not Chris Colston, but who was the other one? Oh, Canada, Cannon, and the Hibbard, just like all the different Cody names.
Like, that's what, somebody came up with a meme and it said the Cody Fest, and it had like every single one of our names on there, which cracks me up. So, just using that as an example, that getting lost in translation, like when somebody gets on release radar, and this is what playlisting is important too, because a lot of people just hit play and just go listen, and that's why you want your song to pop, because the hardest part is getting someone to just click on it.
Yep, 100%.
And I got a lot of legends that I grew up on that I'll see them drop a new song, and it'll still take me everything I got, unless I'm just on a road trip or something, everything I got to go, let's take a listen to it. Yeah. And those are people that have been putting out music for a while.
It's the same thing whenever I talk to other, up-and-coming artists that, or probably at my level, which is, a step below yours, is like with an EPK. If it doesn't have a hyperlink where that event coordinator, whoever, can take one click and click on it. Because I'm not going through and type in your name, I don't know you. I'm not taking 15, 30, 45 seconds to look you up. No. I'll take one click and listen to 30 seconds of your song that you have posted, but I'm not going to go in and search for it. And I feel like it's the same thing with fans. It's like, if I don't know you, you're nobody to me, so why would I take time out of my busy day to listen to you?
Exactly.
And so if you can get them, though, for that first 30 seconds, say, hold up a second. This is something I haven't heard before.
You got to go into this business that you got to value your fans' time more than your own.
No doubt.
And you got to know that they're just as busy doing their stuff out there, and they got stuff that they want to do. They got stuff that their life makes them do, and you got to find a reason to be important enough to squeeze your way into that, to their life. And like I said, that's the coolest thing about this scene, is that it becomes family, it becomes authentic, it becomes, when you get people traveling all over freaking just to follow you around to just come watch the same show they've seen 10 times. Like, that says something.
No doubt.
And we say it every show, and I know we're giving every detail of my show, but we can't do it without the fans. We can't do it without the people. And I use playlisting on Spotify, Apple Music, all that as a tool, because it's just like TikTok. It really is. I've always said a follow on Spotify is just as important as a follow on Instagram.
No doubt.
And once you use that tool, you just have to be authentic after that. And you have to be able to show these guys that, hey, I'm here for the long run. If you guys want to jump on with me, and let's go.
Yeah.
So
we were talking about Joey Greer earlier, and Joey told me one time, he said, man, my goal is to make 10 fans at every show I go to. Mm-hmm. He said, not to go play for 2,000 people and get 500 fans. He said, if I can make 10 fans that are true fans and I interact with them at every single show, he said, I feel like I'll be successful. Yeah. And man, that's been so true. I feel like that if you just focus in on building 10 close connections, not relationships, but where you sit down and take the time, because we're all freaking tired after a show, man. It's exhausting. But to sit and say, man, I appreciate you coming. And they said, like you said earlier, sitting telling your story about, man, I couldn't have made it through my brother committing suicide if it wouldn't have been for your music, or this song got me through this tough time in my life, or me and my wife got married and our first dance was this song, or I walked my daughter down the aisle to this song of yours. Whatever it is, that's a lifetime memory that you're a part of now. And so for you to take 5-10 minutes to just sit and talk to them, they'll remember that the rest of their life, And I think that's what is so great about the Red Dirt scene, especially is, when I went to Wisconsin the other day and was with Colby and Corey, I mean, it didn't matter who was there. Everybody was treated exactly the same. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter who you are. That's racism doesn't exist in the red dirt scene.
That's a stigma that we was talking about Cody Canada.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen this video or not, but I wrote a verse to boys from Oklahoma. And it goes, them boys out there in Asia that can't even spell weed, they try really hard, but comes out ching chong ching. But if you give them a blunt, I'll give you one guarantee, the miles will get so squinted that they can't even see. Because I worked for some of the gnarliest dudes out there on the blue collar, or just a blue collar boy, and them guys called me son.
Oh yeah,
they'd give me the shirt off their back.
Yeah,
is there racism out there? Yes, I'm not ever denying that. I mean, you can't deny facts, but have I seen it personally out of the years I've been alive and out of the work I've done, the good old boys I've worked with, all and then a lot of people, I mean, they can't distinguish between a joke and true, what's going on. And that's why we joke about it too. And that's what, like our song Die and Breed, that's why we're all human. We're all here. And that's what a lot of, probably 99.9% of your fans, that's all they care about. Is you're human. We're here to have a good time. We're here to, and then we say it at the beginning of the show, don't leave everything at the door. You're here to have a good time tonight. You're here to put that heartbreak away. You're here to put all that,
let's forget about it for an hour and a half.
And that's what music is. And, I believe what I believe, and, and I'm not going to change your mind at a dinner table just as I'm not going to change your mind at that concert. So,
and that's the thing about the kind of music you put out that I respect is you can tell that you believe it. And if Monday, when we were in the studio, we were going through a couple different tracks on the second verse, and they sounded pretty much the same. But I was talking to my producer about it, and I told him, I just believe the second one more. I just believe it, and I feel like that is the whole determining factor. Is if you can write something that you believe, then you'll promote it, then you'll go out and sing it, and then people will believe it. And I can't get with. I don't see how people promote something that, and that's the thing. I've never recorded something that somebody else wrote. I know millions of people do it. I know, Cody's Johnson's last album. I know he pulled a ton of stuff from just some great writing, and I love everything he's put out so far. Till You Can't is probably my favorite song right now. And but I'd have to find something that somebody else wrote that connects with me.
And that's
what I mean.
Because I have no problem with it. And there's a lot of good songwriters that they just don't want to get in front of
anybody. Or can't sing.
And can't sing. And that's me as a fan first. And because I think all of us, even artists, are music fans first before.
No doubt.
Because, of course, what's always the big thing? What's your influence? Or, where did you inspire to write this song? Or where did, who's an act that you really want to play with? Because we're all fans first. So whenever I get a song that I didn't write, it has to mean something to me. It has to bring an influence in either a way I can hear it lyrically, of course, or a production side that brings me back to listening to, whatever to, but that's another thing growing, because like I said, we've only been doing this for a couple of years. Growing wise is that finding my own part in either a song I didn't write, or really finding where I'm going with all the writing. And that's a lot of our big deal here lately is that, and that's why I'm so pumped. I've been so pumped about this EP. Like, we dropped You Don't Want to Go There, and it's done really, really, really well. And of course, you love to see the growth. I mean, you want to see where you're at, compared to last release. But
it's more the connection, though. It's like connection, people man, I feel this song.
This next, because the project, and I went into it before we knew what songs we were going to cut. I said I want to write 4 of them, or co-write 4 of them. I said I want to cut 2 that someone sends me. We cut 2 that someone sends, that they sent me. We cut 4 that I co-wrote, and every single one of them has a place that, like you said, it's like a kid. You can't pick which kid because you just blend them in all the same, and man, it's just wild. It's just a wild ride.
So here recently, a buddy of mine took a drive into Texas. We left Shreveport, Bossier, and we started driving. We got on our GPS, and we wanted to go check out this apparel company that we had been hearing a lot about. Really love their stuff online. We've been seeing it everywhere. Everybody's wearing it, and we said, man, we got to go check this place out. So we start driving, and we come to no cell signal, and we kept driving, and we found some cow pastures, and we kept driving, and eventually we came to this little town called Ark, Texas. And in Ark, Texas is the home of one of the coolest apparel companies in the game. Hat company, apparel, they've got everything. And it's Red Dirt Hat Company. So we go in and we start getting to know some of the team there. We just came to really buy a bunch of hats, and just really hit it off with the people there. I mean, they're just like us. They just want to see the Red Dirt scene grow. They love helping artists. They are just awesome people. I mean, Ryan and Justin are just two of the nicest guys I've ever met. And so as we were talking, I said, man, we got to do some work together. So I'm proud to say that we are now partnered with Red Dirt Hat Company, and they're officially our apparel sponsor. And man, like, look at some of these. This hat is probably my favorite. Dig white. Even on backwards, they've got logo on the back. All of these hats are incredible. It's a really cool design here. And even, I've got a little boy that's 3. They even have kids' hats. I mean, this stuff is just awesome. You got to check them out. Red Dirt Hat Company. Look them up on Facebook. Look them up on Instagram. Go to their website directly, and you can find links to shop on all of their merchandise, whether it be shirts, hoodies. There, I'll step out of frame here, but they've got some awesome hoodies this year. They've got incredible shirts. I mean, you name it. Go check them out, reddirthatcompany.com. Thank them for supporting Red Dirt University. We are super tickled to be working with them, and you're going to be seeing a lot more from them. So y'all check them out.
No.
And the more I kind of talk through this with you, it seemed like that would be really cool for somebody that can't sing, that is just a writer, to have a cut on your record. Somebody that they respect's like, man, this is my song out here. I can't do this like Cody can, but man, how cool is that for them too? So that definitely makes sense.
And then a lot of it too is the co-writes. You know, I've been doing a lot of co-writes, and you start to meet a lot of these writers, and you see where their heart is. Mm-hmm. You see their passion for writing. You see what's on their mind and stuff too. And like I said, a lot of it they need just a home. Yeah. And it's and I always, of course, go back to George Strait. How many number ones did he have? He didn't write a single one of them.
Yeah.
But, it just
old Dean.
Yeah, old Dean Dillon. You just need to find that passion behind it, get people to believe it just as much. And then, of course, there's going to be people that just want to listen to music, to listen to music, and that's great. I mean, that's why we're the human race, because we can do whatever we, and that's why we live in this great country, because you can do what you want, listen to what you want, and like I said, my thing is when everybody just starts dogging on so and so for listening. You was talking about Drake or whatever. Like, I listen to everything.
I love Drake.
Honestly, hard rock is like my. I grew up on like a Bench Sevenfold to Shine Down to Alice in Chains to of course sneaking it from my mom and but of course Keith Whitley and Brooks and Dunn. I think Brooks and Dunn was my first CD I ever bought, and so I have all these different influences, and in the end, everything's all mashed together these days. And
it's a great thing about with Spotify and everything now is, I mean, if you listen to a non-Red Dirt playlist, just if you put my Spotify on shuffle, I mean, I was bummed because I got COVID 2 days before the Three Doors Down Seether concert out here, and I was jacked. I bought tickets as soon as they went on sale. Love Three Doors Down.
They're one of the best concerts. I was literally just telling the band that one of the best concerts I ever went to when I was younger. Three Doors Down in Daughtry.
Really? Oh God, that would be sick.
They killed it.
Yeah. So I was jacked about that. So, but anyway, so I was bummed I had to miss that one. But man, I've gone and seen them. I've been to Kid Rock and Jamie Johnson, all the way to Colby and Corey. It's just, I think that's the cool thing about this is you'll go from one thing to the next, and it's just people's love for music.
My buddy Justin plays bass for Three Doors Down.
Really?
And he's huge. What he does, he's out in Nashville. He does a lot of songwriter rounds, and he's got his own music. He's really good. And but he's a fan of ours too, and he's always telling, man, when you're around, just hit me up. And I'm like, dude, that'd be. Yeah, Brad Arnold, all them guys. Like, I'm just like,
I'll be around.
That's a lot. Probably your younger listeners are like, who's that? I don't know. It's crazy how this. I always thought the oil field was a small scene because it is. Like you meet so many people and like, hey, did you know so and so? I was like, yeah. You know, we'll take that back, like Dying Breed. Dying Breed one of the writers on was Heath Sanders out of the Arkansas scene, which he's in Nashville now, and with Spirit, and he lived. I don't know where he lived in Arkansas, but he used to work for Southwest Energy before he got on Bobby Bones' show.
Okay,
and that's what blew him up. What blew him up was a video that he took himself, and me and him, and I don't know if he remembers this or not, but I was helping my father-in-law on that job, and my father-in-law loves to talk, and he'll just good old boy, give you a shirt off his back, and I remember Heath standing there. Heath was having to kind of watch us. He was the gas company rep, and he just kept going, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. You just tell he was there trying to get the day over with, and so when they shot me over Dying Breed, I was like, and I had to think back on it. I was like, no kidding. Like, that's crazy how that just full circled back. And I was like, of course I got to cut that song.
Yeah,
which, of course, I mean, the meaning behind it.
Right.
It was definitely what we, me and you, both being oil field, know what to do. But it's, which it means more than that. I mean, it's just the working person in general.
That's the thing is it can mean so many different things to different people. And that's so great about it, man.
Yeah.
I do, before we wrap up, because I know you got a sound check in a minute.
Good, man.
So you got wife, kids.
Yep.
One kid, two? Two.
Yeah.
How old are they?
6 and 3.
My kids are 6 and 3.
6 and 3.
That's crazy.
That's great.
Yeah.
Boy, girl?
Yep. My daughter is the oldest, and then I got a little boy.
Oh, that's the way mine is.
Really?
Is yours horrible? The 3-year-old?
Yep. He's bad. He wants to be a bull rider.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. That's why. Which that boy of mine, I mean, he knows how to turn it on and turn it off.
100%.
Yeah.
And so, my daughter, she, the other day, I was sitting and, working through just kind of some business plans and stuff like that. I was writing on a big sheet of paper, and she comes in and she gets her notepad like this.
Yeah.
And she just starts writing down everything I'm writing.
Yeah.
And I looked and said, what are you doing? She's like, I want to learn what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay. So I sat down with her, and I said, well, what are some things you want to do? And what are some things you want to buy? I said, and she's like, well, I want this American Girl doll, and I want this Barbie food truck or whatever, And so we sat down, wrote down some goals that she wanted, and I said, okay, what is something you can do that people would give you money for? And she's like, well, I paint pretty good pictures. And so we started talking through all this stuff. So we sat down, I worked with her, write a whole business plan on how she can sell coffee at rodeos, because my ex-wife and their mom, she's big time barrel racer. We met whenever I was team roping, and that's kind of how we got to know each other. So my son wants to be a bull rider. My daughter, she's barrel racing all the time. And so anyway, so we sit down, and I mean, she's got this whole freaking business plan about how she's doing all this. And my son, I turn around and look, and I mean, he's got these little hair ties, 1,000 of them spread across the carpet, and he's just laughing. I mean, so that's the difference in them.
Yeah, that's
sure.
where mine is 100%.
Yeah.
Mine, I think mine has snuck too many YouTube clips whenever we're not paying attention of all them content, them young kids like whatever Ryan's World and all that. So we got our iPad. We're homeschooling her right now.
Yeah,
until we
I was
find her.
homeschooled.
Yeah,
cool.
And so she'll take that iPad and she'll record. This will be the first video I can make where I'll embarrass her later on.
Yeah.
But she gets she'll record herself and she'll sit there and talk and do all the stuff like all those content creators. And but she's so sweet. I mean, you just can't beat what she does. But then that boy of mine, he's 100 miles an hour.
Oh yeah.
Big old head like me, and poor kid just freaking, like anytime he sees the band, he just runs 100 miles an hour with a fist balled up and just goes and starts punching them. And
man,
I'm like, this kid ain't gonna do nothing in life. Like this is great. But no, I love both of them to death. And like I said, that boy of mine, he knows when he does wrong, and he'll just turn it off and go, become the sweetest little kid you ever meet. And he's got so much personality, and it's just so cool to see the opposites of the two. But ask your mother. I wrote that after telling my boy the good old. I'm sure you've said it. Ask your mother. Yep. And
love it, man. I was listening to that and just really honed down the words. Freaking love that.
That's
song.
why, and that's we go back to just I guess real quick the marketing side. If I were to tell some artists, I got nervous about that song. Yeah. And I knew it was a great song writing wise. Like I just was like, man, it's kind of like an old school country song. Like it reverts back to, You know, it first talks about you, then it talks about, you know, later on get married, and then it talks about your future. And I knew it would do great.
Yeah.
And it hasn't done as well as I've wanted it to, and it's all on me on the marketing side. I know you was talking about marketing, and because I got gun shy about it. It's a love song. It's not something we've really put out before, and I got gun shy about marketing, pushing it. Every single show we go to, of course, it's half whiskey, half lonely, but they go, that love song you played, that Ask Your Mother. Like,
I'm glad you said that because the single I just recorded Monday, it'll be out in a couple of weeks. It's called Walk With Me. I wrote it whenever I was teaching my daughter how to walk whenever she was 2. So this was 3-4 years ago. And I've never really played it much because whenever you're playing the bars and stuff, you don't want to write like a sad song and play it there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, but the first verse talks about teaching her how to walk. Yeah. Second verse is, she grew up, now she's chasing boys, but still find time to walk together and on the beach, And then third verse, kind of, I guess, the climax of the song is talking about walking her down the aisle whenever she's married. Yeah. And so every time I've played it, somebody's come up to me after the show and been like, you need to record that because I want to walk my daughter down the aisle to it, or I want first dance or something like that, And so I've been hesitant about recording just because then I got to play it. It shows. And I just feel like it's mood-wise, you go from everybody partying, having fun to I have yet to play that song where somebody didn't cry. Yeah. And so it's just like the same way with, Ask Your Mother, I would imagine. It's just like people connect so deep with that.
When, of course, you bunch it up in the set list where it works. And, example, we opened up for Cody Johnson, Easton Corbin, and Jesse Robb Jr. out in Springfield, Missouri. Mm-hmm. And I think there was 4,000 or 5,000 people there, and it was crazy. And of course, we had a limited time set, and they was like, "Man, what are we pulling?" And I was like, "Man, we can't kill the vibe right now, so let's just pull Ask Your Mother." You would have thought I committed a crime.
Really?
I got off there, and everyone from the tiniest little woman to the biggest, burliest dude coming up, "Man, why didn't you play Ask Your Mother?"
Yeah.
I was like, oh, man. And it's just you, man, I actually heard this from Randall King. Randall told me, he said, believe in every single song and then just let your fans decide it, whatever. But don't let it discourage you if anything ever happens. Just do music for yourself.
That's good. And people always ask if I'm playing like a smaller acoustic show or something, what's your favorite song to play? And so that's always, it's a song I wrote about my daughter. It's my favorite song, And so I'm really excited about it. But I'm glad you said it because I would feel like that's the way I would have approached it too. Is hesitant with like, I don't know about this just vibe-wise and everything like that. But
I talked that song up so much when I wrote it. Because lyrically, I was just like, you know what, it tells a story. Yeah. It's just, people can relate to it. Mm-hmm. Everyone, most people love their mamas. And, it's just way of life. Like, your dad probably more than likely told you, go ask your mom. Yeah. And, like I said, when I wrote it, I got so pumped up about this song when we cut it and recorded it, and it had nothing to do with production. It just started weighing in my mind, man, this is completely different what I've done in the past. How's my fan base going to react to that? And they took it and ran. Like, it's That's just awesome. As much as Half Whiskey, Half Lonely. I mean, it did make playlisting, but it's just believe in your music. Believe in what you do. Believe in that. That's one thing. It's just the growing pains. Like, I've said it 5-10 times now. I just dumb old welder. Had no plans of getting on stage. Had no plans of connecting to people through music, strangers at that. Yeah. And becoming friends, them becoming fans or whatever. And they're going to believe in what you do. You just have to be able to believe in it first. And so. Man,
but so inspiring for upcoming artists that say, well, I couldn't do that. Or, I've been an oil field hand for 20 years. Yeah. I'm not going to, I can't do anything else. But, and if you believe in something and it's what you love, that's what it's all about.
And
you said life's too short, man.
Life's too short. God. Life's too short to hate, to dog on each other, just because you like so and so, I don't care. Go like them. Yeah. Like I said, if you like tequila or whiskey, one or the other, drink
Doesn't
it.
Matter.
Yeah, doesn't matter. And I feel like that's where that's the best thing about this scene is we're all starting to come together and really just be like, hey, I like you know, maybe he's not my sound, but you know, he's making money, he's making a living, he's doing what he wants to do, or she, or whoever, you know. So
no doubt,
it's been awesome. It's been absolutely, and you know, and I miss Weldon. I really do. I miss being all that, you know, hanging out with, you know, whoever out there, and just being in a different place every time. And but I've grown a love for, you know, just being able to relate to people. Yeah, and that's what keeps me on the line. There is just being able to relate to people and seeing how people react. And
100%, it's
just a great freaking, not just music's just in general. It's just
absolutely
such a great outlet.
I love it, man. So new EP October 1st comes out, right?
Yes.
So we'll be on the lookout for it. Obviously, people can find it anywhere they can stream music.
Yeah.
Where can find out more about you? At Cody Hibbard Music?
That's how good I am at social medias. CodyHibbard.com, of course. I think my Twitter handle is like Cody Hibbard _. And then Cody Hibbard Music on Facebook, Instagram, and then I got TikTok, but I don't know what my name is on there. Just look me up. You find the Asian dude singing country music or whatever. That's me. Yeah,
that's it. That's it.
That's another thing too. Whatever, you can edit this out if you.
No, it's fine.
I think this is great. I'm tired of seeing all these Asian dudes on, like, it's become a contest. Who's the most countryist?
Oh, I've seen it though. It was a trend for a while.
It's a trend.
Yeah, it was. It was a trend on TikTok for a while.
I'm like, why is this a trend? Like, that's why I think I had it on TikTok, the real country Asian, because I got like, which I don't give two shits.
Yeah,
like I could care less. But I'm just like, why does it? One, it don't matter. Like I said, we're all human. But second, it's like I can tell you've never even been out past
100%.
the city limits. Like, come on now. Just because you sing a George Strait song doesn't mean I'm not bashing nobody. It's just be authentic.
Yeah, be who
go
you
back,
are.
go be who you are. Yes, if you love country music, that's fine, but don't call yourself the countryest.
That's it, man.
Whatever, and like I said, it doesn't have to be Asians. It's just
no. I didn't even think about that till you said, but that it was the mirror trend or whatever. You come up and hear somebody singing.
He's one of them. There's dude. Anything that's related to Asians singing country music, it hits that phone 100%. Everybody and their dog's like, bro, somebody's coming for you. Bro? Hey, is this your cousin? That's your uncle? Yeah. That's what. And I'm just like, hey, I embrace it, man. It made me who I am. Yeah. You know, of course, growing up was, you know, I grew up in a all different school, you know, or I guess mostly all native and white, you know, school. And of course, kids are, you know, growing up, this is what we're missing, I feel like, as parents. Kids are going to say what's on their mind.
No doubt.
Because kids are curious.
Yep.
Kids see what they see, and kids are going to say doesn't mean that they're bullying.
Yep.
Now, granted, it can lead to bullying later on.
It's going to go back to their parents. It's just like my daughter, man. Yeah. So one of the most proud moments that I've been, which there's been many, but my most proud moments of my daughter, I kept hearing her every day talk about this boy Max at school. Yeah. And she was in pre-K at the time. It was year before she started kindergarten. And she kept on talking about Max, and just it was her best friend. Yeah. And so I go and was I think it was a Christmas play, you know, or production. They get up and sing songs and they talk about everything. So me and my ex-wife are sitting there, and she's standing there by this boy and everything. My ex-wife leans over to me. She goes, "That's Max. She's standing by." I said, "Oh, cool." Max turned around. He only has one hand. I've talked to my daughter about Max every single day. She didn't mention one time about Max didn't have a hand on his left hand, you know? And so it didn't matter to her, you know? I mean, it's the same way whenever, you know, the first time she had I think it was the first time she really realized that she was in pre-K kindergarten, said, you know, why does Whitney, who was her black friend, why does she not look like me? Yeah. God made her different than she made you, and then God made you, you know. And so y'all she's 100%. Just as great of a human being as you are, you know. It's just God made you both different, and that's
what, you know. Growing up, like I said, we talked about it. I was adopted, and my dad used to tell me all the time, man. I went to a white school too. Yeah, I was picked on just as much for being short and all my buddies did too. Yeah, you know, the thing nowadays is just embrace it. Yeah. Like you know, and I'm not telling anybody how to parent. I don't. It's your kids. Yeah. But you know, we talk about our kid. You know, 6 and 3. Both mine are, you know, half Asian, half white. Yeah. I want them to embrace both sides because there's nothing wrong with them.
No, not a bit.
Unless they become screw ups. Then we got to have a little talking.
And that's just what you talked about earlier, though.
Yeah.
Be a decent human being. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Treat everybody with the same respect. Doesn't matter what kind of position they hold. My dad used to tell me, it doesn't matter what you do, never be too good to sweep the floor. No. And I've carried that with me in everything I've done, whether it's been owning a company, whether it's been working in the oil field, whether it's been sweeping the floor. It didn't matter. Always hold the door open for, doesn't matter who it is behind you, you know? And I feel like if everybody took that same approach, we wouldn't have these issues, And
I know my kids are going to come home crying one day.
Yep.
Because somebody's going to pick on them for being different.
It's going to happen.
But that's where we need to step in and go, hey, I said, kids are going to say what's on their mind. Kids are going to spot the differences. And that's what makes kids great, honestly. Yep. Now, the parents just need to step back in and just be like, it's okay. Because honestly, everyone that didn't ever probably make fun of me or any of my buddies or anything growing up, they never probably amounted to anything.
Yeah, that's right.
And I hate saying that, man, because I care about everybody. But you'll grow up.
In the end.
Everybody will grow up.
Yep.
And now I can, like I said, I just said that verse about the boys from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I don't know how many Asian jokes I make during the show. Like, it's just do you.
Yeah.
Embrace yourself, you know. And that's what, all my buddies are different colors.
Yep.
And we're trying to bring a positivity, too, about this whole whatever. And I'm sure a lot of people, especially in Nashville, get, well, he don't know, whatever. I know.
Yeah.
We've lived real life.
And that's the thing is whenever you're, like one of my very best friends, he's actually my lawyer. He graduated LSU. Is
he Asian?
Yeah.
And he's a lawyer?
Yeah.
Well, that makes
right.
sense.
So but I mean, me and him will go back and forth with each other all the time, giving each other a hard time. Yeah. If, he gives me back some numbers, if he has a typo on some type of number, I'm about to ride him. I was like, you messed up.
I thought you were
something.
good at math.
Yeah, but he and I have a personal connection. I would never do that to anybody else, but we're best friends. We're going to ride each other.
Don't come up to so-and-so
exactly,
and just start making fun of them. Right? That might be a little different story.
Being a decent human, man.
Yeah, but I mean, get to know. And we always say, if we ain't giving you shit, it probably means we don't like you.
That's right. If you come up to me and I'm not, giving you a hard time within 30 minutes, I probably don't like you, 100%.
And that's what it's I don't know. We're just trying to, as far as Cody Hibbard and our camp, like, we're just trying to show what real life is. Yeah. Like, and not saying I know everyone's lives or, I have no clue what a doctor does. Yeah. But I'm just, as far as on our aspect of a good old boy, simple guy, simple woman, whatever, like, this is what you can come out to enjoy yourself and just let it go for a little while.
100%, man. Well, I appreciate you again for being on the show, man. I appreciate your service. Like I said, I know you're in the Naval Academy and everything. MCG Wood and Metal Works that makes these signs for us. I think you saw the ones with Corey and everything in there. We're going to get you one. I know it was last minute getting you booked and everything, but we want to get you one made, and I'll get it to you and everything.
That's awesome. Thank you again for having us.
Absolutely.
I know it's a kind of last minute deal, last minute gig, but
some of the best ones, man. We'll have some fun.
We've had some fun we always have fun.
Yeah. It'll be a good night, man. Appreciate you again.
Hey, thank you, brother.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
I want to take a second to thank our hotel sponsor, Margaritaville Resort Hotel and Casino in Bossier City, Louisiana. As always, they put up all of our artists in their hotel. They took care of Cody's team. Incredible. And it's just the best place to be in Bossier City as far as lodging. You come there, they have it's the newest hotel for one in Bossier City, and they have the nicest rooms. It's the best casino. I mean, the food that they have there is incredible. It's right next to the East Bank, where we're headquartered, where you have Frozen Pyro, Bojack's. You have all these bars and restaurants. We've got a 3,600 person music venue being built right now back here. Y'all make plans to come to Bossier City, stay at Margaritaville, come check out the East Bank. I think you're really going to enjoy your time here. We'll see you soon.